All right, this is Taco Burger with Taco Burger News, and we are at that time of the year. This is the Game of the Year episode. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about a few things here. So it looks like we have a front runner with Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, this is a fresh indie title by French people and is the most nominated game in the Game Awards history with 12 total nominations, breaking the record of 11 held by The Last of Us Part 2 and God of War Ragnarok. So that's kind of actually a huge deal for this game to actually get like 12 nominations, and it's definitely the front runner. So why it's the front runner? It's dominated major categories, including Best Game Direction, Best Narrative, Best Art Direction, and 3 separate Best Performance nominations for actors Ben Starr, Charlie Cox, and Jennifer English. The game's unique Art Nouveau art style and challenging turn-based combat have resonated massively with critics and players. Now, this is one of those games that I really meant to sink my teeth into. I mean, it just looks good. It's turn-based, reminding me of the old days of Final Fantasy VII. So I'm thinking about really digging into this, especially with all this hype around the game of the year and it being like a record breaker. I'm sure it's going to get a few more downloads before we actually really figure out if it's going to win. Now, here's the part where people are really wondering if this could really make it all the way. Since it's from a relatively unknown indie studio, which is Sandfall Interactive, could it actually beat major AAA sequels? I mean, that's really the question here. And I think what we're actually seeing is a shift in how people are really engaging with AAA content. Like AAA games are usually your top of the line, highly graphic, great storyline and all that. And we hadn't really been getting a lot of that. A lot of AAA games come out in a broken state in which they end up fixed and great later, which is all good, but it doesn't do much for you in the moment when you actually purchase the game. So yeah, um, that's where we're hitting to where it's going in a way to where we had these indie titles that don't have the same grace that we give these AAA studios. So they have to do it right the first time because they probably won't get a second time to do it. They're lucky to have the first time. So that's my whole thing about it. Like if we're gonna be really doing this, we need to really be doing this from the standpoint of get it right or as right as possible the first time. Like nothing's gonna be perfect. I'm not asking for perfect, but we gotta have some of these things a little more in line. So anyway, that's my take on that. We're gonna move on to the second thing here. We have Hollow Knight Silksong. Now, Silksong is from a tiny studio called Team Cherry Studio. They received 5 total nominations, including a massive nod for Game of the Year. It's the ultimate fan favorite, and its inclusion validates years of hype. So, if you hadn't heard of this game, it's the sequel to the original Hollow Knight, which was a hit. This one seems to be something where they stepped up the difficulty. I hadn't had a chance to play it, but I'm gonna definitely dig into it because I didn't even get to really play the first one. So we might have to go back and just collect those achievements when we make the time for it. But yeah, I mean, I like a good challenging game, and I think this is another indie title that's making the list. That's but they were already talking about this might be Game of the Year just due to the hype. So you know, the question here is it a hype nomination or is it truly a masterpiece? Because a lot of fans are saying that they simply wanted to win just for being a perfect execution of his genre. So I mean, if you're doing what you're trying to do perfectly, and you're standing out in that particular genre, then what's the problem with giving you the recognition for it? Now, here's the things that are missing: Elden Ring Nightreign. This is from AAA Studio. Now, this expansion was released this year, and despite massive critical praise and a nomination for Best Multiplayer, it was excluded from the Game of the Year category. This is the biggest outrage online, as fans argue its scale and quality were better than some full game nominees. Now, yeah, absolutely. Elden Ring, Nightreign. Now, I'm thinking in the midst of everything that's been a full game, it'll be kind of crazy for something that was a DLC to win Game of the Year. But I'm sure Elden Ring is winning. I'm not sure about, did it win Game of the Year like the year it came out? That's something we'll have to look into. But yeah, it'll be crazy for a DLC to win Game of the Year because that's not a game, that's a DLC. Now, if there's a category for DLC of the year, then yeah, it should definitely be DLC of the year. So I don't think this is really too much of an outrage. I think it's good. Anything Elden Ring is going to be good. It always does good. You can just expect good stuff. You know, when you hear Elden Ring, they gave you quality the first time and they went back and gave you more. Like, what is there to even complain about? Elden Ring is one of those games I didn't even have a chance to beat yet, but I played it for hours already. When I do pick it back up, it's going to be to really just finish it on off, you know, so I can get into the Nightreign and then finish that on off. You know, are you ever really finished with Elden Ring? You know, that's what I like about games like that. Like, you could put it down, come back to it when you're ready, pick it right back up, and you'll be right where you left off. The high-rated miss, Ghost of Yotai. The follow-up to Ghost of Tsushima was a critical success, scoring very high, but was left out of the Game of the Year list, despite receiving 7 total nominations, including Best Game Direction and Best Narrative. So yeah, Ghost of Yotai. That's a pretty good game there. It was left out of that Game of the Year list. So I don't know why this happened here. So I'm thinking like since they're wondering if the list is half indie. So since the list was half indie, did Ghost of Yotai lose its spot because the jury favored independent titles this year? Maybe, yeah. I think that's what's happening here. I think independent titles are really getting a shine here. And I think it's about time. I really do think it's about time for indie studios to kind of get the reputation that they deserve. I mean, there's a lot of games I played and are playing that are indie titles. I always just due to my experience with indie titles, I always give them a chance because you never know what might be just the next addictive game to play. It was something called My Friend Pedro I played before. That was a good game. Didn't expect it to be good, but I really enjoyed it. Told a friend about it. He played it. He enjoyed it. So I wasn't alone in that thought. So indie games are just really doing it, you know, and they're gonna probably continue to do it because those are the ones I think what you gotta realize about any industry, when you're more hungry, you're gonna produce something that's gonna be of a better quality. Not saying that we should starve artists or anything like that. But my whole point in saying that is that usually greatness comes from like very, very small means. And that's what indie studios kind of represent. AAA studios have all these procedures and stuff, but sometimes the most beautiful path is the one that's paved as you're taking it. So that's something to think about there. Another thing that is on the list is Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Hideo Kojima's latest received 7 nominations. Its high concept narrative and unique direction make it a guaranteed contender for Best Narrative and Best Game Direction. So yeah, Death Stranding 2, you can't go wrong with Hideo Kojima. I remember when he made the Metal Gear Solid series, I had a great time with that game. It was probably one of my favorite games in the history of games. So to see him on the list again with another project is just part of the course for Hideo or Hideo. Or however I say his name, I'm probably butchering his name, but just know there's a lot of admiration when we speak on it. Let's talk about the next actual contender. We have Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Now, this deep historical RPG sequel is a major AAA title and an Xbox Game Pass Day 1 title. Its presence on the list is a big win for Game Pass. So yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 looks good. I've seen it. I hadn't had a chance to pick it up and play it, but after watching this trailer, I think I might. Because I'm getting to that point now to where I just kind of want to get my achievements up, just square it up on a few of these good games. Even if I miss them, I'm going to go back and catch them. So it's all in good fun. So yeah, that's pretty much it as far as the Game of the Year news. Now I know this video might have been a little lengthy, but if you made it this far, make sure you like and subscribe. We try to let out a video daily. Sometimes you might catch a short, it all depends. But for the most part, we try our best to be as consistent as possible. But make sure you like and subscribe, and get in the comments. Let me know what you're looking forward to. What do you think should be on there? Was there any game that you were playing that might have been missed? This is your boy Taco Burger, and I'm out.